Good day, everybody. How's it going? I'm the Tmeister, and welcome back to Timbukton in episode 45. In today's episode, guys, we're going to be doing something really cool. We're going to be building Timbukton's public transportation network. And in fact, not just Timbukton's, but the entire Timbukton region. So all the towns that we've built so far, both Timbukton and Burton, the entire map. Actually, no, almost the entire map, because there's like a huge portion of it that doesn't even exist yet. But whatever's existing at this time is going to be overlaid with public transportation of some kind. So if you guys remember, not in the last episode, but the one before that, I announced a little contest, and that was to design me a public transportation network. So basically, I gave you guys a series of pictures, and I wanted you to draw me a public transportation map. Really as simple as that. So in the past couple of weeks, I've gotten a whole bunch of submissions, and I've chosen a winner. The winner is Canadian Corn. And no, I didn't choose their submissions just because we're both Canadian. There's no favoritism going on here, guys. But I chose his submission just because of the sheer amount of detail that he put into the map. And also, a lot of it has to do with realism. So I'm going to start off with that. I am no expert by any means in anything public transportation. I hardly know anything about it. Like, I'm from a small town. I've taken the bus like 5 times in my life. I really don't have any exposure to like massive public transportation systems. But based on what research I have done thus far, that being like looking at maps and just doing some general research on how bus networks work, I found that Canadian Corn's map resembled, out of all my submissions, I guess the most realistic map. As I mentioned just before, the map is highly detailed, so everything is color-coded. You can see that there's a legend on the side there indicating all the different lines and where they go. If you look closely, there are even direction arrows on each one of the lines, so it made it quite easy to plot the bus routes and where they go. So props on you, Canadian Corn. It's a very detailed and interactive map. And that is the one I have chosen for this contest. So congratulations. And just so you guys know, this was not really an easy decision. I had to debate internally for quite some time before settling on Canadian Corn's submission. But all of your submissions were really great. The amount of work that you guys put into this simple little contest is really amazing. So I really appreciate you guys. You took the time to do this. It was a ton of fun. But don't worry if you weren't selected in this contest. There's going to be plenty more of this kind of stuff coming up. So there's nothing too complicated about this episode. I'm mostly going to follow the sort of map structure that Canadian Corn has made in his public transportation map. However, I will be doing some slight deviations on some of the lines. Of course, it's pretty much impossible to create a bus map without having the city right in your face, right? So, you can't really get a feel of the city just by looking at a map. I can imagine how difficult it must have been for you guys to even draw something up. But I just thought, while I was placing down these lines, some areas could have used a little bit more coverage. Some areas that I know are super busy. There's always a lot of like walking traffic and whatever. So I decided to do some slight deviations on some of these lines. But for the most part, they go in the same general areas as on Canadian Corn's map. So, and I even try to keep all the line colors similar too. So, for example, the Lighthouse Point line is almost identical to how it is on Canadian Corn's map. So all in all, this was a super fun undertaking, this entire project, as it has been forever since I've played with City Skylines public transportation menu whatsoever. So yeah, it's kind of fun to like dive into some of the core components of the game and not just play it as an aesthetic point of view. And you guys probably had noticed by now, but a lot of these lines that sort of intertwine near the downtown area, I made them have like a lot of the same spots, a lot of the same stops. Take the Maine train station, for example. I think there's like 3 or 4 lines that'll eventually stop at the same place. And that's just because it's one of the main landmarks of the city. It's one of the main ports of entry into the Timbukton region, right? So there's some trains from all over that are going to come and dock at Timbukton's main station. So a lot of people are going to be looking for public transportation to, spread out and go wherever they need to go in the city. So that is one reason why a lot of stops will support like 3 or 4 lines. And another thing I have to add is this public transportation map is not going to be the final form of it in Timbukton. So as the city grows, as we move more into the suburbs and the little towns and stuff out of Timbukton, there's going to be some more bus lines that will add on eventually. So like I was saying, guys, there's plenty more little contests like these that I'm going to do. So stay tuned for that. It should be fun. So I'd like to firstly apologize for the little delay, guys, in releasing this episode. For the past couple of months now, I've pretty much been quite consistent at releasing a video every week, usually on Saturdays, as most of the time that's when I get the most viewership. But this week has been a little busy for me, but we should be getting back on track here shortly. But do I have a big surprise coming up for you guys? I'm not even going to say what it is. I'm not going to give you even a hint of what it is. But once it has been released, you guys will know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, just to keep you on your toes a little bit, guys, expect that there's some pretty fun stuff coming up. So yeah, although I'm going to get back on schedule with releasing videos, it's probably time I talk about this too. Around Christmas time and the holidays, of course, everything gets pretty hectic. So you guys can probably expect that there might be a lapse in when I release videos. But I'm sure that you guys can understand, and you guys will probably not have all the time in the world to watch City Skylines videos either. So not a problem there. Oh, and by the way, guys, I did put a link in the description for the map that I'm recreating in the game right now. So if you want to study the map, look at where the bus lines go and all those things, check in the description. And that is Canadian Corn's complete map. He's actually included a couple of things. So he's provided me with a large, complete map of Timbukton, as well as a sort of satellite view, a little bit more zoomed in on the core of Timbukton. So that was really neat, and it made my job a little easier too when navigating the entire city. So I'm going to show you guys right now, I guess the final results on the public transportation network in terms of how it's improved traffic once the whole system has been done. So this is the traffic situation before the public transportation network, and this is the situation after. So as you guys can see, it's not really much of an improvement, but I'm not even mad about it, as at least the citizens of Timbukton now have a choice. Where before they needed to drive everywhere or walk everywhere, at least now they have a whole bunch of choices on how they want to get around town. And not only that, guys, what's really good, especially for you guys, is I can now create bus route videos. So that's a huge plus. You know, with the bus routes and train routes and everything, I can now make first-person videos of Timbukton's bus network. It's gonna be awesome. So as I'm plopping away here, I'm actually gonna get into Timbukton's, or like the entire region's ferry network. So in every little town, I made an effort to place down a ferry port, as it just it creates like a secondary type of public transportation that people can rely on to get around town in case like the buses aren't working one day or whatever the case may be. It makes it a little bit more efficient, and at least people have the option. You know, depending where you're working in the city, you might be advantageous to just take a boat from Aberdeen all the way down to downtown Timbukton rather than taking the bus through, you know, all the streets and whatever. So I just want to make sure that the citizens of Timbukton have all the options they need. And with that being done, the final step in this entire project is to create the train network of the entire region, and that's really simple. I didn't spend a ton of time on that. I basically just connected all the different train stations around town into different lines. So basically everything feeds into Timbukton, and say you want to go from Aberdeen to Edinburgh, you would hop on a train right inside Timbukton, right to downtown Timbukton, hop on another train to Edinburgh. So I sort of went for like the point and spoke kind of thing, or hub and spoke, whatever the correct term is. Anyway, but yeah, we're pretty much approaching the end of this episode. It wasn't too long. You know, we didn't really need to build anything crazy in this episode. So there's not a whole ton of content to go around. With all that being said and done, guys, I just want to thank you so much for watching. Also be sure to subscribe to the channel for much more content like this to come, and also many more little contests like these ones too. Next episode, we're going to be getting into Timbukton Airport. So that is going to be awesome. I can't wait to show you guys what it's all about. I've gotten to a point where the airport is starting to look like an airport in real life, you know, where I am now. So, you know, I can't wait to show that to you guys. And that's all I have to say for today. Until the next episode, please take care, guys.